while something is explaining on this, we can come a little bit closer if you cannot see from the back over there. Today we will start sectional views. This is one step more in orthographic projections. If you remember, yes, Muhammad. In orthographic projection, what we have done? Orthographic projections, what we did so far in this course, in this semester. Missing views and three views, drawing three views of an object. If the figure of an object or the picture is given to you, you have drawn the top view, front view, and the side view of that object, isn't it? Because for any given object, three views are possible. 6 views are possible. Out of those 6 views, 3 views are essential to communicate the object to the other person. So that is third one. Now, once you did missing view, you have a fairly good idea about how to generate the third view with the help of 2 views. Okay? Now, sectioning is one step more in that. What will happen in the missing views? I am holding an object now here, correct? Now, this you are seeing it as a front view. This is the front view. Now, in the front view, what do you see? This is a rectangle, rectangular plate, and this is one rectangle, because this is like a tower. 2 rectangles. Anything more? No. What will happen? Of course, triangle, because you see a triangle, a small plate inclined over here. There are objects which has more details internally. If I show it like this, what you see is there are different types of holes here. So in our missing views, you are indicating or showing these holes as a hidden lines, right? Now, there are certain objects where the internal details are too many to be shown as a hidden line. Or even if you show, it may not communicate the object thoroughly or fully or very clearly to the other person. Right? In such cases, we go for sectioning. In one word, like a punch line. What is sectioning? Is nothing but cutting the object to see the internal part. That's what sectional view. Sectional view is a view in which you cut the object to see how it is inside. Now, before we start again, why we need this sectioning at the end of this presentation, that it will come, but just to give a quick start so that you know what you are going to see in this presentation. Simple, one object, isn't it? Like opening this. But if you open, it consists of many small parts. Each part is different. One is capacitor, one is a battery, another is condenser, another could be resistor, so many things. Similarly, imagine a big machine, larger machine. If you open it consists of many parts. So every part has to be detailed and documented correctly. What are the things? If you don't have that, you cannot repair it, for example. So that in all those things, sectioning or the sectional view will help. So before we start, you know what it is. What it is? The sectional view is a view in which the object is cut to show the internal features, what is inside. Good. Let's go with learning objectives. To demonstrate the proper use of sectional views which show internal features of objects that are not easily understood in standard multi-view drawings. That will be our first objective, is to demonstrate or to see how we use sectional view to show internal features of an object. Just now what I have told you. Of course, to demonstrate to use of AutoCAD, because we will be using AutoCAD to generate our views. Understanding section. Section views has 3 main purpose. Purpose means why we need to cut. Okay, I can understand. You will say, draw the hidden lines. I will think about each hidden line, but I can understand why to cut and draw all this. You remember there is something, priority of the lines. First priority, visible, second hidden, third central line. At least for this course, we have talked about only 3 lines so far. Now, sometime it may happen that at one point you have a visible line, you have a hidden line, which you will show in your drawing. Visible, because it has priority. Now, hidden line has gone. It's not there. You prepare a 2D drawing, you have there. There is no hidden line, but there is a hidden line there. Yeah. So the other person should have that much of vision to understand, is it? Although if he has to understand it by comparing with other 2 views, it will help him. It doesn't mean that there is no information about that hidden edge. It will be there in the other. So in certain cases, opening the sectional view or opening the object and drawing the sectional view helps in understanding the object thoroughly. Now, document the design and manufacture of each single part which are combined to create as one piece. Okay, they are combined. Like just now I give you an example of a remote or any your mobile or anything. There are so many parts, they are combined, assembled together to create this one piece. So it will document. Document how multiple parts are assembled. Means what is linked to what, which connection is going where. This will help because technical drawing will help for the repair. If you have a machine, after working for 4 years, 5 years, it becomes something happened, it busted, then a technician can open, see the drawing and fix it, repair. Aid in visualizing internal working of a design. These are the three main purposes. Now let's come into the sectional view. How to create sectional view? Actually, objects are considered to be cut using a cutting plane. In sectional view, it is considered that whatever is the object, okay, it will get cut using a cutting plane. Cutter. Right. So then the area that would have been in actual contact with the cutting plane are shown as section lining, hatching. Hatching is a word actually used as a technical word in drawings, in graphics. So it is nothing but drawing some lines, hatching, some pattern, line patterns it is. So when you cut it using a cutting plane, wherever the cutting plane touches, okay, that area we will mark using some pattern of lines. Okay, for different material we use different pattern of lines. But the most simple, which is normally in general use, is this. Lines which are at 45-degree angles. Okay, this particular type of hatching is called, the word used technically in drawings is hatching. Hatching is nothing but drawing some pattern. So what is sectioning? Basically cutting the object using a cutting plane. Wherever the cutting plane touches the object or wherever it cuts, we put the hatch. Now in this figure, you are understanding what is happening. There is an object, there is a cutting plane cutting. So one part I remove because of course after cutting you will have two parts. So one of the part you will be. So wherever it touches, you are hatching. But you are not hatching this part. Why? Because it doesn't touch. This is what the word is. Wherever it is in contact. Although I am cutting like this, fine. I am not touching this. It's not a, so you cannot. So only red color here indicates where the object touch. Fine. Okay. So this is the one. This is another figure. There is one great picture because instead of talking, pictures talk themselves. So by looking at it, this is the top view of this box or whatever, and this is the front view. Now in the front view, I am doing the hatching. Hatching is nothing but giving the lines. So this was not there in the missing view. In the sectioning, this is extra that you will be doing, hatching. Drawing the lines. Now, why we hatch here? Why not here, why here? See the cutting plane, can you see?
Yeah.
This. Okay, I am cutting it like this, so it becomes two parts. The arrow indicates the part which you have to view. Okay, so this part has been removed, you are viewing in this side. So in the front view you are viewing. Now, see, our cutting plane has cut this metal here, isn't it? It is cutting actually that, so this area will get hatched. There is, at the bottom of this box, there is a hole. So it will not touch, that's why this has been done.
Like this one?
Like this one, yes. Okay, wherever it is, there is a hole, it will not touch. So this is how the front view in section. Front view in section. Any question? Are you getting? Now, instead of cutting like this, I can use cutting plane and cut in this direction also. Isn't it? It's just cutter. Like you have a saw, you cut the object in the way you like. When I am cutting like this, I am removing the upper part and viewing towards the down part because two parts now. So we will hatch in the top view because it is the top that you are seeing after cutting. Fine? So this is very important. Based on how the cutting plane line is given, you have to hatch either the top view, front view or the side view. It can be side view also. The next slide I will show. Fine? So notice this difference. Now here, the same object I am cutting it two times. It's possible. First time I cut it like this, second time I am cutting it like this. It's an imaginary cutting, isn't it? So if I cut it along the line AA, of course cutting plane line has to be given a name. And usually we use alphabets, capital letters, A to Z, anything. You can write PP, KK, LL, anything. So when I am cutting like this along A, what you will see, front view or the top view or the side view? What you will see? Front view. So you will hatch in the front view. When I am cutting along B, I am cutting object like this. So what you will see?
Side
view. On the back. Is it clear? Yes. Is it clear? How we are doing A and B? So why you are then come in the front? Because it looks like you are out of the class. So when we are cutting it like this, we are making it into two parts. Arrow indicate you are looking towards this part. So remove this part, you have the other part. You are looking here. So this is the side view of the object, isn't it? So you will hatch on the side view. If I cut like this in this direction, I will be looking from at the top. So we will hatch a top. So now this is the section at A because this is the front view and this is the section at B. What is it? Wherever it cut, we hatch that. Which doesn't cut, we will leave it. This is the hole, basically counterbore, or this is elliptical shape. That's why it has two axes. Okay, and this is your center. Now, more slides will come, but just get an idea one by one. This slide, this slide, this slide. Is it clear? Here, I cut it in one direction, front view. I cut in this direction, top view. Here, I am cutting front as well as side. Any question? How we are cutting? Just you have to follow cutting plane line. What is given. And always cutting plane line will have two arrows at the end. That is the indication that this is a cutting plane line. Lines behind the cutting plane. The visible edge of the object behind the cutting plane are generally shown because they are now visible but they are not cross-hatched. What does it mean? This is the object. When you are looking at a front view, how you draw the holes as a hidden line. Fine. After I open it, is it now visible? So is there any hidden line? Nothing. Everything is visible. So all the hidden line will become visible now. Right? So one of the rule in sectioning is there is no hidden lines in it. Right? Keep this in mind. There is no hidden line. Everything becomes visible. This is what they are saying. Line precedence. Line precedence means importance or priority. When a cutting plane coincides with the center line, the cutting plane line will take the precedence. Like when you have a hidden line with the center line, which will take the priority? Hidden line. Isn't it? Similarly, center line and cutting plane line. Then you will go for cutting plane line because those two arrows are important to indicate where the object has been cut. Sometimes it may happen that the line which is cutting plane line, it is at the center, where the center is also important to show. For example, in this particular case, we are cutting the object here and there is a center line also at this point. So in that case, you can leave a small gap here and just indicate the two arrow outside to indicate that there is a cutting plane line here. Fine? Because without cutting plane line, you don't know where to cut. This is the object. I can cut it here, I can cut it here, 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 anyway, isn't it? So you have to indicate where exactly you are cutting to view it correctly. Rules for lines. Show edges and contours which are now visible behind the cutting plane. Omit hidden lines because as I told you, after opening there is no hidden, everything is visible now. So there is no hidden line. A section line area is always completely bounded by a visible line. What does it mean? If you are going to do sectioning for this area, all the boundary of it should be solid, visible line. Okay? If I am doing sectioning here, all this will be. You cannot have one of the side as hidden line. All the boundary should be solid. The section line, in all hatch area for that object must be parallel. These lines must be parallel. You cannot draw some line like this, some line like this, some like this, and in any, like this, like this. No, they are all parallel and they will have a 45-degree angle. Visible line never cross the sectional area. This is the sectional area. So you cannot have a visible line passing inside it. Because after cutting, there is nothing that passes through the sectional area. You cut it, everything. Yes. Rules for lines, because you are seeing only at the down. Rules for the lines. See the object. We are cutting at the center. Correct? This is the cutting plane line. This part is removed. You are looking upper part and how it will be. Where it touches, we hatch it. The object is getting cut there. This is. Then there is a hole here. Then there is a solid cut. Then there is a hole. Okay. Cut. Hole. Yes. So how we do the sectioning or lining, which area you have to do the hatching and which you don't do, you have to decide. Mistakes in sectioning line. Actually, this what I was writing here as a sentences, I just draw it in the picture so that you can understand much better. Now, what is it first? Hatch is never bounded by a hidden line. Hatch means this pattern. It is never bounded by a hidden line. The boundary all should be solid. Okay. The hatch is always the same direction on a single part. What is the difference in that? Yes. What is happening? These lines are having this slope and this having this slope. So this indicates these are two different parts as per standards of drawing. So no, if this is the slope, here also it should be in the same direction. It cannot have two different directions of slope. On a single part, the hatch is never crossed by a visible line. This is the hatching pattern. Inside it, there cannot be a hidden line or a visible line. Fine? That is other. Another thing is show visible line behind the cutting plane. After you cut, the lines are visible, so you have to show it. You have to omit these lines which are there in the view, but after cutting, they are not there. So all hidden views will become hidden lines will become solid line. Now, what is this line? See, when I am cutting it, the object is not touching this edge, but still it is visible to you, isn't it? So we are showing this edge. Right? So these are the things. Cutting plane line style, of course you can use center line or type and then two arrows at the end. That is the important part of it. Section line technique, how to do section line? Usually these lines are drawn at an angle of 45 and the distance is 2.5 millimeter from each line. Fortunately, we are all using AutoCAD. We are not doing drafting or using a pen, pencil, etc. So this is very simple. AutoCAD will take care of it. Just give a command, hatch, boundary hatch, and it will draw these lines. It will draw exactly 45 degree, maintain length, distance, everything. Now, how to do the hatch? We have to use a command called hatch. Use hatch. B for boundary, basically. Hatch the boundary. Means draw the lines inside that boundary. So this window will come up as a